Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's me, Megan, and I am back with another book in my Stephen King project, reading every Stephen King book in chronological order, chapter by chapter, week by week. And today, I am bringing you the Tommyknockers. Now, I don't even know where I want to start with this. Alright, let's start with my rating. I rated it 2 stars, and yes, I did not exactly enjoy it. There was a good story in there somewhere, but it got lost amongst all of the words that Stephen King decided he needed to fill this book with. But saying that, I don't feel so bad rating this really low because even King thinks this is one of his worst books that he ever wrote. He said that, I read this quote somewhere where he said that it could have been probably a 350 to 400 page book, and I wholeheartedly agree. This did not have to be 740 whatever pages this is. 47 pages. It really did not need to be this long. There was so much, I'm calling it argle bargle. If you've read the book, you know exactly what I mean. But this went on for way too long. I started reading this in August. So I've been at this for 3 months, and my goodness, every week I kept going, okay, so what are the Tommyknockers? When are we gonna see them? What's going on? We kept getting new characters. And then it was literally, I was like this far in, and we're still getting new characters. And I'm like, we don't need to make this world any bigger. We really don't. The concept was great. Like I say, there's a story in there somewhere amongst all of the words. Oh, he used, wow, so many words. But basically, these Tommyknockers are, I guess, because I still really don't quite understand what they are because he never really explained them to us very well. And you only see them, spoiler alert, you don't see them until the end. And I'm like, but what? And so they're like these weird creature-esque things that I guess they want to come back to life. And so they're feeding on humans essentially to come back to life, but the way that they're feeding on them is really strange. So we have our main character, Bobby. She's a writer. This book takes place in Haven, Maine, just right next to Derry, Maine. And so she's a writer, and she's like the head honcho, I guess you could say. Like, she's the one that they attack, I don't even know if that's the correct term, but she's the one that they infiltrate first, and she's like the ringleader, basically. And then you have Jim Gardner, who is also a poet, but because he had a ski accident, he has a metal plate in his head, and this stops them, the Tommyknockers, from infiltrating him, and so he's basically like the one person who doesn't get affected by them, because everyone in the town slowly starts to get affected by these Tommyknockers, and everything's glowing green, and they're starting to create these inventions. I don't get the point of the inventions. Like, that part didn't make sense to me. It was like, oh, like, Bobby thought of this, like, she could sleep, and the typewriter wrote while she was sleeping. I can't remember what they called it. It was like, I don't remember the words for it, but there's, like I say, too many words. So she could do that. There's another old lady who's, like, makes this polisher, it does it by hand, like, you just press a button and it polishes silver. Like, everybody in the town is starting to create these weird inventions, but also they're starting to, like, shrivel up and become basically nothing. It was just very strange. So I feel like my reviews become very wordy because this book was so wordy, and I just don't know. Oh goodness, but I liked the concept. I liked getting to know the characters. I didn't exactly care for all the new characters. It was great to have like a kind of like a little world that he built up, but it wasn't done in a way that it felt like it served the story much. I don't know. They were just kind of added, and you're like, oh, okay. There was one character, Bobby has a sister, who also, it doesn't affect her, and she's like really mean and like really annoying. I loved to hate her. She was introduced way too late for me. She should have been at the forefront of the story. Like, she and Jim should have like done like had like a whole character thing, but like I say, that it never happened, but it would have been really cool. So yeah, and then the way it kind of ends is just I don't know where to go with this other than it tried. It tried. So that being said, yeah, this was a 2-star read. Like, 2 stars is generous, I think. I don't know, like I say, some of the writing was good, some of the writing was terrible and didn't need to be there. Some of the concept was good, some of it didn't make any sense, and then some of the characters were great, and some of them I really didn't need. So, it's a balancing act here, so sometimes you just gotta try and find the story. And that kind of leads me into the miniseries that they created in 1993. I'm actually kind of surprised that they actually attempted this. And, you know, I ended up giving it like a 3-star on Letterboxd because I can't fault it for its content, because it tried to make something out of I don't know, out of gobbledygook. And I think they did a pretty good job of it. I mean, I was pretty entertained for the most part. I think they really cleaned up the story. They made it into a mini-series, but it was like only 2 episodes. So I don't know how much of a mini-series that is. But I think it was done pretty well. They got rid of a lot of stuff that didn't need to be in there, and I appreciated that. I was surprised by who the actors were. Like, Jimmy Schmitz was Jim, and I'm like, I like his acting. He's very good at acting, and I think he really carried the film because he's really good. And so he was, I think, the saving grace for me, because I find him very entertaining to watch, and he did that very well. He brought Jim's character to life, and I really enjoyed that. And then they had the girl from CSI, I can't remember her name now, and she was also a really good actress too. So I was like, the 2 main leads it's stacked here for this, like, TV show type, like, made straight to TV movie, essentially. But she also did a really good job. I liked how she brought Bobby to life. She did, like I said, a really great job. Then you had other actors, and I was like, ooh, they were not great. And then the kids, I'm so sorry. I mean, they're kids, so I won't fault them for this, but they were not good. They were very stilted and wooden, and I was like, oh, you poor soul, you poor soul. But like I say, I don't blame them. They're just children. They probably don't even know if they want to be actors or not. It's fine. It's a starting point. They can learn a lot. So that kind of like, you're kind of like, oh, I'm entertained, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, okay, like, alright. But I think they did a good job of making it into 2 1.5-hour things, because it didn't make everything feel squished. It gave the story enough space to breathe. It took, like I say, the good elements of the story and kind of tried to piece it together, because, like, oh, I didn't mention this, but in the book, I feel like we had to piece it together ourselves. Like, there was, like, the timeline wasn't linear. It was very, like, this happened, and then we have to go back in time because this happened, and then this happened, and this happened. I feel like the film actually, like, brought all of those weird pinpointy elements and kind of gave us more of a cohesive story to follow, instead of being like, wait, oh yeah, that happened then, and I have to remember that happened because it affects this happening then. Sometimes that works, but in the gobbledygook that this was, it didn't really work that well. So, I think the film did a good job in that regards. I don't get why they had to change the ending of the film versus the book. I mean, it felt very selfless, and I appreciated the selflessness of the said character, who basically uses themselves to save the rest of the town. It was interesting because, like, so in the book, everything happens and it's kind of very finito. But in this, it's like, everything kind of goes back to the way it was. It's like everyone unfreezes and everyone goes back. It's very happily ever after ending, basically. I don't know why they decided to choose to do it that way. I mean, it worked. I mean, for cinematic purposes, it worked. But it wasn't very gruesome. Like, it wasn't very, yeah, like, it wasn't scary. Like, the book, like, the way he would write, how, like, people were decomposing, I guess, in front of us, like, creepy, disgusting, and some, oof, like, I was like, I literally would be reading out loud and go, ew, because it was just so gross. But, this has probably rambled on for very long, but I'm gonna finish. But yeah, like I said, I don't know why they decided to change it, but, I mean, it worked, but wasn't my, I mean, I didn't need it to be changed. But yeah, those are basically all of my thoughts. They're all probably very durable, just as much as this book was. So, if you've read this book, please leave a comment down below, because I want to know what your reading experience was to this, because mine was, when is this going to be over? So, which leads me into what my next read is going to be, and that is Nightmares in the Sky, which is this. It's like a coffee table book, essentially, so there's literally 35 pages of King's, I guess, musings on, so this guy named F. Stop Fitzgerald has a whole thing on gargoyles, and King did a foreword, and so that's basically what I'm going to be reading. So I will be back very shortly to talk about this. So that is all I have for you guys today. So if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, a like, a subscribe, a do your thing, and I'll see you all in my next video. So thanks then. Bye guys.